Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE here. Now, Elimination Chamber been and gone last episode. If you haven't seen it, then go watch it now because spoilers are plenty ahead, obviously, as the final premium live destination on the road to WrestleMania has passed now. And so it's just 4 more weeks of action, 4 more episodes, and then we have the 2-night spectacle, the Grandest Stage and more WrestleMania 38. And an early warning that these next 4 episodes in the build-up to WrestleMania most likely will be a bit longer, purely because in-game Raw, NXT, and Smackdown are usually set to 2 hours, but I've set them all to 2.5 hours for the lead-up to Mania, just because of the amount of matches I have planned for WrestleMania that I need to build up to. The only way to fit it all in is to increase the length of the shows, and so the episodes will probably do the same. But I'm just adding to the time by rambling now, so let's just get right into it with another episode of Monday Night Raw, and we kick off things with the WWE Champion Adam Cole making his way to the ring, and he is in a happy mood. He talks about Elimination Chamber, where him and Roderick Strong defeated Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly in a tag team match, and he says that Bobby wanted to align with Kyle, and so he doesn't feel sorry for Bobby. Bobby did this to himself. Bobby picked his side, and clearly he chose wrong. He aligned with the turncoat, he aligned with the backstabber, he aligned with Kyle, and so Adam says he doesn't feel bad for what he did to Bobby, and he won't feel bad about what he does to Kyle at WrestleMania, because it'll be the same old story. In the annals of history, we'll read Adam Cole on the winning side and Kyle O'Reilly on the losing side, only this time it's a singles match and the WWE Championship's on the line, because Kyle O'Reilly has never, could never, will never be on the level of the greatest professional wrestler on the planet, Adam Cole, Bay. And that's when Adam Cole is interrupted by Aleister Black. Aleister Black not seen since December, I want to say. No, not seen since the Royal Rumble. Making his way out here to confront Adam Cole, and Black issuing a challenge to Cole. Black's been out for a while, and he's going right for the big dog. He's going for Adam Cole for a 100. Why not? Aleister Black, after that elimination in the Rumble, taking a bit of time away, and now coming back, going for Adam Cole, and we're going to have this matchup later tonight. Adam Cole versus Aleister Black, a big matchup to start March off here. 100 for that segment, really good. As then we go backstage to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Of course, they lost in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic final, the Mysterios winning, and you know, Sami Zayn's talking to Kevin, and Sami's trying to convince Kevin Owens, saying that, you know, it was good to team with you, Sami, that was nice, but we didn't win the Dusty Cup, we're done as a team. And Sami trying to convince him, saying that just because we didn't win the Dusty Cup doesn't mean we can't be tag champs, doesn't mean we can't go to Mania. You and me, Kevin, we might not have won the Dusty Cup, but we didn't get pinned. We can still do this. You and me as a unit, as a team, can still do this. And Kevin, you know, against it, but then in walks Drew and Sheamus, also been out since January. And they're a bit smug. And Drew and Sheamus saying that, Kevin, you're making the smart choice here, because you and Sami can't compete, it's clear, with the Celtic Warriors, the Raw Tag Champs. So it's wise of you to just break up your team prematurely before we kick your asses and go along your separate ways. And Kevin kind of, you know, rolling his eyes a little at it and saying that, you know what, Sami, I think teaming sounds a great idea. And you know what? Like, Sami, you can get the first strike in later tonight, because you know what? I'm going to talk to Drake Maverick. And later tonight, we're going to have Sami Zayn versus Sheamus. And everyone's a bit... Drew and Sheamus, not happy. Sami, happy about Kevin agreeing to team, but doesn't really want to fight Sheamus. But you know what? Sheamus and Sami Zayn, one-on-one later tonight. 83 for that segment going. Another good segment. As next up, we have the first singles match of the night. Angel Garza, in his return to singles actions, his first singles match since Extreme Rules, taking on the fabulous Frederick Fairchild here. And they're in the ring when Edge's music hits, and Edge makes his way out to the ring to sit at ringside to watch, of course, Garza and Edge at Elimination Chamber. They agreed to their match. Drake Maverick made it official. WrestleMania, Angel Garza versus Edge, Hell in a Cell, but only under the condition that neither man lays a hand on the other before that match. So Edge can't lay a finger on Angel Garza, but he's coming to watch it for an 83 here. And in the match, Angel Garza does, of course, come out on top with the wing clipper in his return to singles action. Garza picks up the win. 81 for this match. Good match, you know. His first match on Raw, probably. Yeah, it would be his first match on Raw since before SummerSlam. So, since August. Getting back into the groove of things, Garza. 77 for him, doing well. 67 Fairchild, happy with that. Garza coming out on top as Edge watches on. We then go backstage to Daniel Bryan being interviewed by Kayla Braxton, saying that he issued the challenge to Johnny Gargano. Gargano, of course, picked up an injury, but when Gargano's healthy in a few weeks' time, Bryan says he'll be looking forward to taking him on. Interview interrupted by Montez Ford, and Montez Ford saying he has a lot of respect for Daniel Bryan, and he's been in this funk so far in 2022, but maybe the thing he needs to get out of this funk is one really good match. And so he says that he knows you need a good match, you go to Daniel Bryan. Ford issuing the challenge and Bryan happily accepting the chance to get in the ring for a 90. So later tonight, Daniel Bryan versus Montez Ford. As then we go to Drake Maverick's office, knock at the door, and who walks in but Vince McMahon. Mr. McMahon comes in. Maverick, you know, not expecting it. Maverick standing up, Vince telling him to sit down, and saying he just dropped by to tell Drake what he's already told Paige and William Regal, and that is that at WrestleMania, there will be a triple threat Battle of the Brands match. One superstar from Raw, one from NXT, and one from SmackDown. Because he says, we need some competition. He says things, you know, they're going well, but they can always go better, shall we say. And so, a triple threat match, and you know what? Why don't we throw some stakes in there? So Vince McMahon says that the winner, well, the GM of that respective brand, they can decide on that, but the losing general manager, the general manager whose superstar is pinned, well, let's just say that general manager will be fired for a 55. You know, not the best, but well, big announcement, Battle of the Brands at WrestleMania. The losing GM will be fired. So a lot at stake there. Drake Maverick looking a bit nervous at that, but he'll have to find a superstar. As next up, we have the earlier announced match between Sami Zayn with Kevin Owens ringside, taking on one half the Raw Tag Team Champion Sheamus, of course accompanied by his partner Drew McIntyre. And in the end, following a bit of distraction at ringside, Owens and McIntyre get into it, Sheamus distracted, Sami Zayn hits the hell of a kick and gets the win. Sami Zayn, a massive victory here in the Battle of the Gingers for an 82. Good match, 77 Zayn, 71 Sheamus. I'm happy with this. As McIntyre getting in the ring after Zayn leaving and Zayn and Owens going up the ramp, they've picked up a victory over the Raw Tag Champs. Zayn has pinned Sheamus. You have to think it strengthens their claim for a Raw Tag Title match at WrestleMania. As then we go backstage to Frederick Fairchild walking around, you know, nursing his wounds a little bit after his defeat earlier to Angel Garza, when he bumps into The Miz and The Miz taunts him a bit about losing to Angel Garza. A superstar who hasn't competed in single competition in months. And Fairchild says, you know what, Michael, you're right, it should have been an easy task, and I can't wait for you to show me how it's done, because it's new here. Yet next week it will be Angel Garza versus you, so I'll come to ringside and then I'll watch you show me how it's done. Fairchild wiping the smirk off of Miz's face a little bit there for an 83. Match announced for next week as well. As then out comes to the ring the Women's World Champion Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks says that Io Shirai won the Elimination Chamber at WrestleMania. Sasha Banks versus Io Shirai, a dream match, years in the making. It just sucks how predictable it is, because Io Shirai is good, but Sasha Banks is better. Sasha Banks is operating at a whole nother level. Sasha Banks is the blueprint, the best, and the boss. No one can compete with her. Io Shirai can do her high-risk moves. Io Shirai can fly around the ring, but in the end, all Io Shirai is going to be doing is tapping out to the boss. For a 100, Sasha Banks promos always amazing. Interrupted by Io Shirai coming down to the ring, getting in there with Sasha Banks, and Sasha Banks saying that she has respect for Io. More than respect than she has for a lot of women in that locker room, but at WrestleMania, This women's world title stays where it belongs, around the waist of the best women's wrestler in the world, Sasha Banks. And Io Shirai saying, "You talk too much. I don't need words. The only words that matter is that at WrestleMania, I beat you." Before Io Shirai leaves, a woman of few words here, Sasha Banks. You know, kind of aghast that there's a lack of a verbal confrontation here, but Io Shirai making it clear in the few words she uses, she's confident about this. And so is Sasha for a 90. I think this match could absolutely steal WrestleMania, to be honest with you. I can't wait for it. As then, what do we have? We go backstage to Kayla Braxton speaking to Edge about earlier tonight. And she says about Edge and Garza's match at WrestleMania being official, not allowed to touch each other, Hell in a Cell at Mania. Asking Edge about going to ringside earlier tonight, Edge says that he can't lay a finger on Garza. And you know what? Garza can't lay a finger on him, so why not use that to my advantage? I went to ringside to scope him out. You know, I know his moveset, but he's been gone a few months. See if he's added anything, but WrestleMania. Garza, how many WrestleManias has Garza been to? 2? I'm Edge. I've been to Manias. I've won at Manias. I've won world titles at WrestleManias. I've been in the Hell in a Cell. I know this. This is my playground, not his. And at WrestleMania, I finished a job I started at SummerSlam. I finished a job I should have finished at Extreme Rules. At WrestleMania, Angel Garza ends. For 100, another incredible promo tonight as Edge makes it clear, WrestleMania, he is coming for Angel Garza in Hell in a Cell. As next we have the penultimate match of this evening. This is a long episode already, just for Raw. Daniel Bryan taking on Montez Ford as announced early tonight. And in the end, it is Daniel Bryan who comes out on top for an 82. 78 Bryan, 68 Ford. The two didn't seem to click, sadly. I don't think Ford clicked with Gargano either. He's not having a good run here, is he? As well as in another defeat for him in 2022. Bryan getting the win in the end. I mean, it is Daniel Bryan, though, so you can't begrudge him that. After the match, Bryan helping Ford to his feet and then whispering something into his ear. You know, some words of advice, some encouragement. Ford a bit down about this run he's on, but it's Montez Ford. He had the year of his life in 2021. You have to think he'll come back strong at some point in 2022. 86 for that post-match. Really good from these two. As then, we go backstage to Kayla Braxton interviewing Tommaso Ciampa. Not seen since that Judgment Day triple threat defeat for the WWE title. And he asked Ciampa about that and where he's been. And Ciampa says that that's in the past. Gargano is in the past. I'm ready to move on, to focus on what's next. And I know what's next. I know who is next. I know who I want to, who I have to fight. Before Ciampa walks off, rather ominous there. Ciampa clearly has his eyes on someone for a hardcore title match at WrestleMania. 4-86. Great segment from Ciampa, amazing on the mic as well. As then, right before the main event, little promo plays advertising. Next week, Goldberg will make a massive announcement live on Raw for an 80. Another thing for next week, we have Garza, Miz, and now we have Goldberg making a big announcement. What will it be? We'll have to wait and see before it's time for the main event. It is the WWE Champion Adam Cole taking on Aleister Black here. A huge match between two incredible competitors, which hopefully will do really well. And in the end, after a hellacious matchup between these two, where they both lay it all out in that ring, it's Adam Cole who comes out on top, hitting Black with the Panama Sunrise for the victory after just under 28 minutes. 93, incredible match, incredible Raw here as the final stretch to WrestleMania begins. 94 Cole, 85 Black, both doing amazing. But Adam Cole, who gets his arm raised once again, heading into WrestleMania on incredible form, Adam Cole, as after the match, the music of Kyle O'Reilly, the Rumble winner, of course, hits. O'Reilly storming down to the ring, but Adam Cole, as O'Reilly slides in, Cole slides out the other side and walks through the crowd. Cole avoiding Kyle here. Kyle calling for Adam Cole back, and Adam Cole saying, no, we do this on my time. Adam Cole not looking for a random fight with Kyle. He'll fight Kyle. He's beat Kyle at Elimination Chamber. He'll do it again at Mania. He doesn't need to beat Kyle's ass in that ring right now. Adam Cole just leaving for an 83. good episode, I think. Good ending. Overall, Raw this week getting a 96. Amazing work. Great matches. The main event, Adam Cole and Black for a 93 did great. 2 100 rated segments. The Sasha Banks promo and the Edge interview, as well as the Cole and Aleister Black opening segment getting 100. Increased upon 55 regions. I'm very happy. What a great post-Elimination Chamber beginning to the final stretch of Road to WrestleMania Raw this is. And hopefully we can continue this amazing momentum. I want all high ratings heading to Mania, so hopefully we continue that next up with another episode of NXT. And NXT kicks off with the NXT champion Chad Gable coming out to the ring. And he says he could say a lot right now, but this isn't about him. He wants to invite the man who this is about. He invites Randy Orton, the man who won the Elimination Chamber match at Elimination Chamber, the man who will be facing Chad Gable for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania. And Orton comes out and Gable congratulates him on the Chamber win, says he hoped Orton would win, he knew Orton could win, and Orton did win. And Gable said he is looking forward to this match at WrestleMania, Gable versus Orton for the NXT Championship for a 100. Before Orton can really respond though, the music of the Velveteen Dream hits and he comes out of his little group. Dexter Lumis and the NXT North American Champion Isaiah Swerve Scott. And Dream says, congratulations Randy, but we all know you only won the Elimination Chamber because the Dream wasn't in it. And Orton kind of laughs and saying that, I mean, you weren't in it because you didn't qualify. You had a chance and you failed. Dream kind of laughing and back and saying that the Dream doesn't live in the past, the Dream lives in the present, and the Dream looks to the future, and the future of NXT is not in Randy Orton. The future of the black and gold brand is steeped in purple of the Velveteen Dream. And Orton saying if Dream wants to put his money where his mouth is, and Dream is somewhat second chance saying that tonight, Randy, you want to fight, you can have it. Tonight, Randy Orton versus Dexter Lumis, 1-on-1 for a 95. Good opening segments here, as you'd expect from these guys. Later tonight, Randy Orton versus Dexter Lumis, 1-on-1, which will hopefully be a good match. Before we have our first match of this evening here, between Destined for Greatness's own Carmelo Hayes taking on #Trending's Ethan Page. Things have been brewing and bubbling between DFG and #Trending for all of February, really. And the two teams going head-to-head here. Well, they're like leaders somewhat, they're main guys, Carmelo Hayes and Ethan Page. Having a good match. When at ringside, Grayson Waller, causing some ruckus, shall we say. Providing a little bit of a distraction to the referee and to Carmelo Hayes, allowing Ethan Page to roll up Carmelo Hayes, the referee sliding in for the count, and when he isn't looking, Ethan Page putting his legs on the ropes, using it for leverage, and it's a 1-2-3. Ethan Page defeating Carmelo Hayes here for a 52. Good segment. 61 Hayes, 36 Page. Happy with this, as Ethan Page, thanks to that distraction, thanks to his cheating with his feet on the rope, gets a win over Carmelo Hayes here. As then we go backstage to William Regal looking for Thatcher, and he finds him and asking what the hell that was at Elimination Chamber. Thatcher attacking Austin Theory and stealing his place in the match, and Thatcher laughing and saying that, old man, you want to try and hold me down for this vendetta you seem to have, then okay, but I won't play your games. I'll play my games. I'll play by my rules. And as long as you keep wanting to disrespect me, as long as you keep wanting to interfere with me, well then, I'll happily take things into my own hands. And if people have to suffer, then that's on you. When Cesaro steps in, not too happy about how Thatcher's acting in general, or how he's talking to William Regal here, and it's set up later tonight. Cesaro saying you want to fight someone your own size. Later tonight, Timothy Thatcher versus Cesaro. It will hopefully be a good match for a 68. Another good segment. As afterwards, Legado make their way out to celebrate Elimination Chamber. Andrade defeating Trey Giffen to retain his NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And Legado update Legado talking about how they still have all the gold. Since SummerSlam, Legado has ruled this cruiserweight division as they should. The best cruiserweights on the planet, Andrade, Humberto, Carrillo, and Santos Escobar. No one is on their level. No one can go toe-to-toe with Legado. When Trey Griffin's music hits and he storms out and he says that congratulations to Andrade on winning at Elimination Chamber, even though you only won because of some interference, because of your cheating. But that makes sense because you know Andrade. You know one-on-one clean in this ring. You know Andrade. You say you're the best in the world, but you know one-on-one in this ring, clean, fair fight. I beat you. And you hate that, don't you? Knowing that without your boys here, without Zelina, you wouldn't be Cruiserweight Champion. You wouldn't be anywhere near where you are. And it's actually laughable to me how you try and frame your cheating and the interference and all of that as you being the best in the world when you are nowhere near it. For an 80, for a... Look, Andrade not taking too kindly to this, hitting Trey Griffin, Humberto and Santos while joining in, Trey Griffin trying to fight them off, but 3-on-1 getting beaten down here when the music of the 2022 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners, the Mysterios, hit Rey and Dominic, and they storm down to the ring to make the save, fighting off Legado, helping Trey Griffin to her feet. Legado took out Wesley and Nash Carter of MSK, Trey Griffin all alone, but it looks like he may have found some backup in the Dusty Cup winners, the Mysterios. The Mysterios, you have to remember, having won the Dusty Cup, get a tag title match of their choosing at WrestleMania. Could it be the Cruiserweight tag titles that they're after? We'll have to wait and find out. It's a 77 for the Mysterios save. Good segment. And afterwards, we have that match between Cesaro and Timothy Thatcher. A good match between the two. Good technical match. In the end, Thatcher, taking control a bit of Cesaro when Austin Theory storming out to the ring, providing a bit of a distraction to Thatcher, which allows Cesaro to hit him with an uppercut, dazing him before he hits the neutralizer for the win. For an 80, good match. 70 Cesaro, 72 Thatcher. Happy with this. Cesaro picking up the win following that little interference from Austin Theory. Austin Theory very clearly not taking too kindly to Timothy Thatcher, costing him his spot in the chamber. And, causing Thatcher to lose here to Cesaro, which you have to imagine Thatcher isn't too happy about. As afterwards, we have the NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez, coming out to the ring. And she's happy. She's bragging about Elimination Chamber, beating Tegan Nox and Cass Ray in the triple threat match. Raquel says it's become very clear that no one on NXT can go toe-to-toe with her. So many have tried. Tegan, Candice, Becky. So many step up. And so many get put down. Because Raquel Gonzalez is on top of this division for a reason. The power, the strength. No one can go toe-to-toe with Raquel. There's not a single superstar around here who can... who would even have the balls to try. For an 82, as yes, Dakota Kai is back. Her music hitting. Dakota Kai, not seen since SummerSlam, where following a women's tag title match defeat, Raquel Gonzalez turned on Dakota Kai, taking her out. But all those months later, what is that, 7 months later? Nearly? About 6 months later, Dakota Kai making her return, storming out to the ring for a 71 here. She gets in the ring with a mic, and she simply says, "I am back, bitch," before smashing the mic into Raquel Gonzalez's face and storming into her. Raquel eventually getting out the ring as quickly as possible and fleeing. Dakota Kai back, and her eyes very clearly set on Raquel Gonzalez here for a 71. And, she said bitch, so it's serious. She said bitch, so that's how you know this is, really serious. As afterwards, we have AJ Styles going into William Regal's office. Regal, he's had a lot to deal with. AJ saying that he wants to represent NXT in Battle of the Brands. He's seen the Battle of the Brands match and he wants to represent NXT in it. He wants to show what he can do at WrestleMania. And Regal says he's considering a lot of people for Battle of the Brands, but you know what, Styles, okay. You want to show me what you can do? Go ahead, I'll give you a match later tonight. You can show me what you can do for a 75. So match later, AJ Styles will be in action as he looks to show Regal what he is capable of and why he should represent NXT at Battle of the Brands. Before next up, we have a rematch from NXT TakeOver War Games that has been building up. Damian Priest versus Karrion Kross. Kross returning at Judgment Day, setting his eyes on Priest. Then in the Chamber, Kross and Priest going at it. Kross eliminating Priest, and now one-on-one Kross and Priest in action. And in the end, the two are fighting it out here in the ring. Priest setting up for the reckoning on Kross when the lights go out. And when they come back on, the Fiend is standing behind Damian Priest. And the Fiend, Damian Priest not seeing him, grabs the Fiend by the hair, pulls him down. Priest dropping Kross as the Fiend grabs him and hits him with the Sister Abigail, laying him out. Damian Priest winning this match by DQ for an 80. Good match in the end. 84 Kross, 75 Priest. Happy with this. As Priest does get that DQ in after the match, the Fiend kneeling on the floor, looking down at the fallen Priest. The Fiend, not seen since the Rumble where he was eliminated by Damian Priest, obviously took that quite personally. He stares over Priest's body, and he also just looks up and stares at Kross, who has Scarlett by his side. And the two men just staring into each other's souls almost, before the lights go out again. And when they come back on, the Fiend is gone for an 86. Good post-match segment as well. Happy with that. The show continuing very well here. Very happy with this week's episode of NXT. As we then head backstage to an interview with Kayla Braxton. Hashtag trending. Ethan Page, Grayson Waller, Reggie, Persia Perosso and Tiffany Strand all together. And all in a very happy, upbeat mood. They're in celebration mode. Ethan says that he beat Carmelo Hayes, former NXT North American champion. He beat him 1-2-3 in the middle of the ring. And so it's hashtag trending are going to go out partying tonight, and they're going to put it all on social media. Go check out hashtag trending socials, everybody. Well, what am I saying? You're all already following, aren't you? Whilst next week, we've got a big surprise as well for you, Grayson. Next week, a big birthday surprise for you. And Grayson's like, oh, you shouldn't have, man. But he says, no. Next week, a big birthday surprise for you, Grayson. And trust me, it is going to be hashtag trending for a 50. Decent backstage segment, all building up their pops, all very good on the mic anyway. As Ethan Page promises Grayson Waller a big birthday surprise next week, whatever that may be. As afterwards, we have the match between AJ Styles and Jinder Mahal in the end, as AJ Styles picks up the victory for an 82. I mean, decent match. 89 Styles, 59 Mahal. AJ Styles getting the win and showing a little bit of what he's capable of to Regal, a bit of why maybe he should represent NXT in that Battle of the Brands. You know, good match, keeping things rolling. As then we go to Damian Priest being interviewed by Kayla Braxton. And Damian Priest says that he's had enough of all this. He says Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, The Fiend, anyone else that wants some, they can come get some next week. He'll be in the ring waiting. And if anyone wants to step up to the Archer of Infamy, then go right ahead before storming off for a 93. Very good backstage segment, as Damian Priest says that he'll be here at NXT next week in that ring, and if anyone wants some, they can come get some. Before we have Timothy Thatcher storming into William Regal's office, and he's pissed. Regal kind of sarcastically asking how his match with Cesaro went, and Thatcher says just a shut up, old man. And he says next week he wants Austin Theory. And William Regal says, okay, for a 61. So next week we will have Austin Theory versus Timothy Thatcher, which will hopefully be a good match. Before we go ready for the main event, Randy Orton get ready for his entrance when Chad Gable, the NXT North American champion, asks him if he wants him at ringside. He says he knows Lumis will have Dream and Scott there. Does Orton want him there as well? So they don't try anything. And Orton says, yeah, okay, yeah, come be at ringside for an 86. So Gable accompanying Orton for the main event. One-on-one, Randy Orton versus Dexter, Lumis. And in the end, Gable's presence maybe thwarts any attempts of interference as Randy Orton picks up the win for an 80. Decent main event, 60 Lumis, 80 Orton, happy with this. Orton winning with the RKO in the end. As then after the match, Velveteen Dream rushing into the ring, going for a super kick on Orton, but Gable managing to catch Dream in time and smash him down with the Olympic Slam, laying him out. Scott dragging Dream out the ring, Lumis as well, coming out as they stagger up the ramp. Orton and Gable stand tall, victorious in the ring for a 100. Perfect ending to the show there for that 100. Another good episode of NXT. post-Elimination Chamber on the final stretch of Road to WrestleMania, getting a rating of 89. Happy with this. The match is a bit low, still building up people. Hashtag trending, quite a big part of the show, and they all need building up, so yeah, I'm happy with that. Increased the pop in 4 regions, no complaints. A good episode of NXT, and hopefully we can finish this post-Elimination Chamber week of shows on a high with another episode of Smackdown. And Smackdown gets underway with the Limitless One, Keith Lee making his way out to the ring in a great mood following that Elimination Chamber victory, meaning that at WrestleMania 4, the WWE Universal Championship, it will be Keith Lee taking on the champion Thaddeus Bullard. Keith gets in the ring, he grabs the mic. Before he can even speak, the crowd drown him out. The cheers, the praise, chanting his name, bask in his glory, they're singing it. Keith Lee thanking the fans for their support. Their support tonight at the Chamber, throughout his time on SmackDown, NXT, before he even got to WWE, these fans have always been there for him, always been in Keith Lee's corner, and he will be eternally grateful. And he will look to reward their support. He will look to finally reach the top for all of it at WrestleMania, for the Universal Championship, where he will look to realize that limitless potential he has been talking about all these years, and become the WWE Universal Champion, not just for him, but for every single fan around the world who has supported him. When the Universal Champion, Thaddeus Bullard, does come out, accompanied by Paul Heyman laughing, he's clapping, he says, yes, a round of applause for Keith, everybody. Finally, you did it. After months and months of Paige trying to spoon-feed you opportunities to get a Universal title match, you finally took one. Bravo, Keith, bravo! Unsurprising, but bravo. Keith, enjoy it. Enjoy all of it. Enjoy these fans chanting your name. Enjoy the road to WrestleMania, every stop, every destination. Bask in it all. Bask in the moment. Bathe in the moment. Because at WrestleMania, you get beat by Bullard. At WrestleMania, Bullard puts you down. At WrestleMania, I stay Universal Champion Keith. And you can bask in that, okay? Keith Lee saying that, Mr. Bullard, you can speak your words, you can say whatever the hell you want. But at WrestleMania 38, on the grandest stage of them all, the only words that will matter are the words that will come from the ref's lips after Keith Lee plants Bullard down with the Spirit Bomb. As the referee counts 1, 2, and before he can say the final number, Keith Lee is promptly attacked by the Bullard brand. Apollo Crews, LA Knights, Socrates Torres, Cameron Grimes storming into the ring from behind and beating down on Keith Lee, stomping him into the mat as Bullard and Heyman getting into the ring, laughing. Bullard handing the Universal Championship to Heyman, telling Crews, Knight, Torres and Grimes to lift Keith Lee up, preparing to hit the Bullard boot. As John Cena, storms down to the ring, sliding into it. Bullard, Heyman, Crews, Knight, Torres, they made their way out. Cameron Grimes fancies his odds against John Cena for some reason. Goes for John Cena, goes for the cave-in, but John Cena stops him, grabs him, flips him up onto his shoulders, and hits him with an AA, laying him out as John Cena helps the staggered Keith Lee properly onto his feet. They look at each other, they nod, and then they call for Bullard to get into the ring, but Bullard doesn't fancy it, to be honest, at this point. For a 100, really good opening segment. Also setting up a match later tonight is announced after the commercial. In the main event, Thaddeus Bullard, Apollo Crews and LA Knight of the Bullard brand will take on the dream team of John Cena and Keith Lee in what will hopefully be a really good match, fingers crossed. As then we go backstage, Deonna Purrazzo, the $1 Million Champion, accompanied by her posse, of course, knocks on Paige's office, says she wanted to speak to her, walks in, Bianca Belair sat there with Paige. And Paige says she's glad Deonna's finally here. She's wanted to tell her she's seen enough. At WrestleMania, it will be Deonna Purrazzo defending her $1 Million Championship against Bianca Belair. Deonna goes to protest, but Paige says no. And in addition to that, Deonna, I don't appreciate you constantly finding ways to have these matches ruined. I don't like that. I don't like getting all these people involved. So here's what we're going to do. Bianca will have the opportunity over the coming weeks to have members of your little group banned from ringside, and that starts tonight, where Bianca, she says she wants to get this done as quickly as possible. So okay, tonight will be a handicap match. Bianca Belair taking on Aaliyah and Lana. If Bianca wins, Aaliyah and Lana are both banned from ringside at WrestleMania for a 66. Diana not happy, storming out the office. Bianca smiling, very happy, thanking Paige. Match announced later, and a big match announced for WrestleMania for the $1 million title, which will hopefully be very good as well. As then we go to the ring where the tribal chief Roman Reigns and his bloodline brothers Jimmy, Jay, and Jacob join him. And Roman talks about Elimination Chamber, saying that Elimination Chamber, he was putting his feet up. He was relaxing when knock, knock, knock at the door. Paige is here to beg him to go in the chamber, saying something happened to Joe, saying he couldn't cut it. And you know what? The tribal chief, he doesn't hold a grudge. He is a fair and just chief. So he said, okay, he stepped foot in that chamber with less than an hour's notice. And he would have won that chamber if it wasn't for John Cena and Keith Lee working together, but he does not look. The tribal chief ain't looking at the past. He's looking to what's next. He's heard Dwayne's challenge. And you know what? He doesn't need to beat Dwayne. He doesn't need to beat that old man into the mat to prove he's better than him. Anyone with two eyes can see that the tribal chief Roman Reigns is better than Dwayne has ever been in this business. So you know what, Dwayne? You can stay in Hollywood making your movies whilst I stay right here on my turf. On Smackdown, the Roman Reigns show, as the tribal chief of this kingdom. When the music of Bronson Reed hits, Bronson Reed coming down, Bronson Reed saying that he knows Reigns and the bloodline are responsible for what happened to Joe, and he doesn't like Joe, but such a coward's move, especially considering Reigns wouldn't have even been in that chamber. Because, oh yeah, he had a opportunity, didn't he? But what happened? Oh yeah, he lost to Bronson Reed, and Reed saying he'll happily do it again. Jacob O not taking too kindly to the insults to his tribal chief. 100 for this brilliant segment once more. As then is next up, Bronson Reed versus Jacob Varsu 1-on-1. And Bronson Reed picks up the win with the Tsunami for 77. Decent match, 83 Reed, 61 Partu. Yeah, Bronson Reed picking up the win. As then we go backstage to Kayla Braxton interviewing the United States Champion Xavier Woods about Elimination Chamber. At the premium live event, of course, Xavier Woods versus Big E. Big E winning by disqualification when Xavier Woods kicked him in the dick, to put it plainly to you. Losing by DQ, but keeping his title. Kayla asking about it, Xavier saying that, could he have beaten Big E 1, 2, 3? Yes. Could he have made him submit? Obviously, but Xavier Woods, well, he's a lot of things, but one thing he definitely is smarter than that big idiot Big E. Why would he spend effort? Why would he do such a strenuous task when all he needs to keep the United States title is to just do something that he wants to do anyway, which is kick that big idiot in the groin? So honestly, it was the smartest move, and obviously Big E might not know about that, the big dumb idiot, but the smartest move was made by Xavier Woods, and he doesn't regret it. Paige walking in saying that, okay, no, first of all, I don't appreciate my champions cowarding out and doing stuff like that. So here's what we're going to do, Woods. Next week, a rematch. You versus Big E, 1-on-1 for the United States title this time. No DQ, okay? You two can kick each other in the dick as much as you want. I don't care. All I care about is that the person who wins the match wins the US title. No DQ, no count out. You settle this in the ring, okay? For a 93. Great, another great segment. The segment's doing amazing. I probably don't need to bring it up to you. I will continue to do so. Be fair warned. As next up, we go to that handicap match announced earlier. Bianca Belair taking on Aaliyah and Lana. And in the end, Bianca Belair getting Aaliyah and Lana both on her shoulders at the same time. A double KOD. And then the pin for a 60. Decent match. 63 Bianca, 39 Lana, 45 Aaliyah. Happy with this. as Bianca Belair picks up the win, and Aaliyah and Lana will be banned from ringside during the $1 million title match at WrestleMania. But before Bianca Belair can even celebrate, she is promptly attacked by her opponent next week, Frankie Monet, as then Deonna Purrazzo is free to stand tall over the fallen Bier, raising her $1 million title. In her mind, at least, you'd have to say a preview for what's to come at WrestleMania for an 83. Great segment work here. As then we go backstage to an interview from Bronson Reed, and he says he beat Roman Reigns at Judgment Day, he beat Brock Jacob Fire tonight, and he's talked to Paige, because obviously beating him at Judgment Day didn't get the message across, so I'll get a chance to do it again next week, because next week it'll be Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns once more, and Bronson Reed says he's ready for war, he's ready for the Tribal Chief, and he's ready to kick his ass all over again for a 95. Bronson Reed, he's been a revelation, to be honest. He's done such good work since coming over Smackdown, especially. I'm very pleased with him. 95 for that segment, very good. And then out comes to the ring, the inaugural Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners, Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. And they called out the Bloodline. They said they came to their turf because they knew they'd both be too cowardly to meet them on their turf on Raw. So they came to their turf and they ain't leaving until they come out here. Naomi and Nia Jax, Bloodline, the Women's Tag Champs, thinking better of this maybe. Becky Lynch doing the Becky Lynch thing. Trash talking them, putting them down until they can take no more. And Naomi and Nia Jax to come out, telling Becky Lynch to shut her mouth. Naomi saying that, Becky, Charlotte, you're a great competitor, sure, but you can't go toe-to-toe with the Bloodline. I mean, you're not even a team. I can't even keep up to date with your relationship status. What is it? Are you friends? Are you best friends? Do you hate each other? Are you enemies? What is it? You guys go back and forth so much, and yet you want us to believe you can coexist? All the way to Mania? To Mania? At Mania? No. The only thing that's going to happen is you two are going to combust, you two are going to explode, and still, even if you will never have the tag team chemistry of Naomi and Nia Jax and the Bloodline, and so no matter what happens, we leave WrestleMania Women's Tag Team Champs. For a 98, Lynch and Flair saying, you got any doubts on how we can work together? You know what? Stick around. Watch our match next. Because next, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair in action, taking on the Riot Squad, Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot. And Lynch and Flair picking up the win. Flair forcing Morgan to submit with a figure 8 leg lock for a 79. Good segment. 88 Lynch, 79 Flair, 59 Riot, 62 Morgan. Happy with this. As Lynch and Flair do get the win, do show they can coexist, do show they can work together. As then after the match, Ruby Riott going to help Liv Morgan up, grabbing her by the arm, lifting her up slightly, and then proceeding to stomp her into the mat, screaming at her, saying this is your fault, you're a failure, you're not good enough, saying that we were something, we were Women's Tag Team Champs and you blow it. All you are is a weight dragging me down and I am sick of it. For a 74, Ruby Riott stomping Morgan into the mat before promptly leaving her in pain in the ring, heading to the back. Good work all around here as Riot turns on Morgan. Riot Squad, no more. Then we have a little interview segment with the Women's Royal Rumble winner Ronda Rousey. And Ronda Rousey talking about Elimination Chamber, where of course her, Bianca Belair, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir won the 4v4 match against Shayna Baszler, Deonna Purrazzo, Tay Conti and Sonya Deville. And Ronda Rousey saying that last week at Elimination Chamber she made Tay Conti submit, and she's spoken to Paige, and next week in her own kingdom, in her own house, she's going to make Sonya Deville submit because she has a match for next week in a steel cage, so Shayna Baszler can't get involved. It's just her and Sonya. She'll make her submit as well, and then at WrestleMania she's going to make Shayna Baszler submit and win the Women's Universal Championship for a 90. Good promo backstage from Ronda Rousey here. Another big match announcement from SmackDown next week. Speaking of, we have a little promo next for next week's episode of SmackDown, featuring 4 massive matches. Bianca Belair versus Frankie Monet. If Bianca Belair wins, Frankie Monet is banned from ringside at WrestleMania. We have Ronda Rousey versus Sonya Deville in a steel cage match. We have Xavier Woods versus Big E for the Universal Championship in a no disqualification match. And we have Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed in a Judgment Day rematch, 1-on-1. A stacked card of SmackDown stacking up here, you know. If you have a preference for the main event, then feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I think most of... I mean, yeah, a few of these matches, I think any match other than Belair Monet, no offense to them, you could say main event. Reigns Reed with The Rock looming over it, Rousey Deville, Rousey the Rumble winner, of course, Biggie Woods, that blood feud. Let me know what you think should main event in the comments down below. 83 for that preview. Before we have the main event, the massive match, the tag team match, Bullard Brands, Apollo Crews, and LA Knight taking on the dream team of John Cena, the 16-time world champ, and the Limitless One and Universal Championship #1 contender, Keith Lee. And in the end, it is the dream team who pull out the victory. Keith Lee planting Apollo Crews with a spirit bomb for the win for a 90. Good match, happy with this. 93 Cena, 92 Lee, 76 Knight, 75 Crews. I'm very pleased as Keith Lee and John Cena come out on top. And after the match, Thaddeus Bullard looking on from the ramp, not happy as John Cena raises Keith Lee's arm in the air. A show of respect from Cena, a show of a passing of the torch. Passing of the torch isn't the word for it, is it? A show of endorsement is probably the word from John Cena to Keith Lee, saying this is the guy he puts his faith in. This is the guy he thinks can win that Universal title at WrestleMania for a 100. Amazing, great match, an amazing segment to end the show. Overall, a brilliant episode of Smackdown here. So much crammed into it heading into Mania, but still, I think, done really well, getting a 94. Amazing show. I'm very pleased. Increased our pop in 55 regions. I haven't got any complaints. That is it for this week's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. A stacked week, an extended episode, I'll assume. I haven't seen the total run times for all of them, but I'll assume it's longer than usual. Just trying to fit in everything heading to WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is like a... God, how many matches is on the card? It's so many. It's at least like 26 across 2 nights, which is absolute madness, honestly. But there's just so much I wanted to fit into what you're going to do. If you have enjoyed, which I hope you have, a lot of good stuff going on this week as we're on the final stretch to WrestleMania, then please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more, to know when the next episode is as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania, the season finale of sorts of this series at the moment. And, of course, as usual, thank you for watching.